that new business space?
District Road?
Yeah.
So now this one's 110.
Offers over 110?
Yes.
Right, okay. Got. You could see this, if you proper cleaned this place up there, this would be decent, nice wee tree. Yeah. You know, you get all those tidied up there. And it's private and it's reasonable size and it's pretty well, it's quite flat. It's got a wee drive out the front, and again looking at the windows, see the windows, Fred? Now, you ain't going to, this is open for offers over 110. I wouldn't pay that. So I'm like, this kind of house for me needs to be about 100. The update on the property. Angus Avenue then sold, and the proceeds of that were used to fund the purchase of Buckendyke. I think Robertson Drive was effectively property number 3 or 4. We'd sold that. We now want to like property 5, which is Buckendyke. We've now purchased Maxwellton Road. So, we're going to go to this new acquisition we've got. It's a 3-bedroom terrace property. We're not quite dead set on what we're doing yet, but it's either going to be a full renovation because we're going to sell it, or we're going to do a light refurb and rent it out to someone there. And there's a few reasons why, which we'll explain, but we'll get inside and we'll have a proper look at it. One of the problems is in East Kilbride, the parking can be a bit of a nightmare in certain areas. And as you can see, if you look down to it, we're on a busy main road and all the properties up until now we've put driveways in, and you could see it's virtually impossible to put a driveway in here. What that means is it can mean that it's harder to then sell on because people's requirements, parking is very high up. Do you see what I mean? I'm like, how would we?
It's a very steep incline, yeah.
Stairs over. But then when you start going down that road, that's when you need planning permission. That's when you need to get, because normally you just need consent from the roads department. But when you start building things like that, you need to put proper planning permission in. But that, if I could do that, that would bump the value up to probably 10,000. That would probably be worthwhile. It's whether we would have it in the budget to actually make that work. Is that going to be cost effective? But so one of the things we need to get checked to see this front render stuff. We need to try and see what we need to do with that. Can we paint that, or do we need to replace it? It doesn't look great. What I would maybe look at doing is maybe putting the slab that we put out the back, maybe look at replacing this walkway here as well. Put new slabs down, similar colour, the sandy kind of colour, beige sand colour to the neighbour. That, I'm comfortable pitching that in 25,000, offers over 125, and so right now I've got a buffer of 30 grand to get it out there. We could do that without a driveway. To get it to that standard I'm going to need 15,000, so that leaves about 15,000 in profit, minus some legals, we're sitting about 12 to 15,000, assuming it's not our biggest deal. If we could get a driveway put on there for say £5,000, it adds another 5 grand to it. So that's, if I can get add £10,000 by paying 5, that's worthwhile. But whether we can do it or not will remain to be seen. But from that I'm expecting to make 10, 11, 12,000. Now these are all within a very small circumference. They're all in a certain area within East Kilbride and gold mine area. So of course, you travel about, you find deals sometimes, you can't be too picky at times on where the deals come from. But you want to get to know areas very intimately. You want to know them well enough where the good areas and the bad areas are. I mean, literally a good area and a bad area and like just 3 or 4 mile drive could be the difference of like 15, 20,000 for effectively the same thing. There is areas like that where literally a 5-minute drive to the other side of East Kilbride and a 3-bed terrace is getting 100 and offers over 100 and maybe 105, 110 if it's done to really high standards. It's all relative, you know, you buy them cheaper, you sell them cheaper. Some are more desirable than others. Some areas are better for parking, some are worse for parking, but you can easily put driveways on them.
Why? Because it is a good property. Do you know we've got a few like that? We've got one in Nace Drive just now.
Yeah, they are a very good size. That's a shame. If you could knock that wall down and put a driveway in the back, that would be quite good. That one there we're going to see. Yeah, so you can see that all the houses are of the same type, because when you get one that you know, you don't want to miss opportunities. If there's a one there that you don't know, like a style that you've never been used to, you know, if there's an opportunity there, you take it. But for us, the ones that we're seeing, they're all of the same type, the 3-bed houses where we know the owner, the new owner that's going to be in it, so we know what they want, we know what colour of kitchen they like. So this is another one. But these are the type of things you want to be aware of, like the guy parking in his grass. Do you know what I mean? That's not so great. There we go. Okay, so just similar condition then. And again, you'll see when you see the internals that one, we're buying them a certain condition, but we're buying a specific type of house. And 2, we're renovating them to a certain standard. And as I've said, the reason being is that we know the first time buyer market now. See, we're taking these types of houses and highly, like, do a really high end finish on them, and we're getting 135. But in order to get that, we're spending nearly 20,000 on actually getting it to that, and we still need maybe 15 margin. That we're not greedy and needing lots, but that's still where we are. Not too long ago, I was a first-time buyer. I know how much what the mortgage market's like, how well it's supported, how much these younger people generally can get together for deposits, and I know the standard of finish that they like to do as well. So that's why not only are they within an area that I know very well, but they're all of a similar type of house. Because if I start buying any more, ones that are slightly more expensive, 3 beds slightly more expensive, then you would just go off and buy a new build, albeit you may be smaller, but you get all these different incentives right now with some of these new builds. So that's why I'm sticking at the sort of 135 mark. I have in my mind how much I need to spend on them. I know what I need to make. I know that if I needed to rent them out, I can do so fairly easily. So I've got some contingencies planned there, but they're all the same type of property. And yes, they are all done to pretty much the same standard. Some I'm putting a bit of grey in, some I'm carpeting, some I'm laminating, some I'm just doing a kind of whitewash throughout. I've put a grey gloss kitchen in, I've put a white gloss kitchen in. You know, there's some variations, but in terms of the general standard, with the chrome fittings, the nice doors, new windows and doors, external windows and doors, nice laminate flooring, nice carpet throughout, they're all the same. The skirtings and facings, you know, kind of mouldings we're always replacing, so they're nice sort of Taurus type mouldings. The coving that we're putting in, again, it just makes it a higher finish, a better finish. And so what's this?
99. This one 110.
Offers over 110.
Yes.
So you know, Melanie, you could see this, if you proper cleaned this place up there, this would be decent, nice wee tree. You know, you get all those tidied up there. And it's private and it's reasonable size and it's pretty well, it's quite flat. It's got a wee driveway out the front, and again, looking at the windows, see the windows, Fred? Now, you ain't going to, this is open for offers over 110. I wouldn't pay that. So I'm like, this kind of house for me needs to be about 100. The reason being is that by the time you add a 5 grand on for stamp, 4 grand plus legals, 105, you're going to spend 10, take it to 115. You'll get 130, 135 for this, done to the standard that we do, but you don't need to do windows and you don't need to do a driveway. So you're saving a lot of money there, so you can pay a wee bit more. I could probably pay, normally I'm wanting to buy maximum 95, but I could pay 5 or so thousand more because I don't need to do windows and I don't need to do a driveway. So this is good, this is decent. It looks a lot of electrical work need done though. So, and it's exactly the same. And you could see it's virtually impossible to put a driveway in here. What that means is it can mean that it's harder to then sell on because people's requirements, parking is very high up. But that, if I could do that, that would bump the value up by probably 10,000. It's a shame if you could knock that wall down and put a driveway in the back, that would be quite good. See, we're taking these types of houses and do that really high end finish on them, and we're getting 135. But in order to get that, we're spending nearly 20,000 on actually getting it to that, and we still need maybe 15 margin that we're not. Offers over 110. So you know, Melanie, you could see this, if you proper cleaned this place up there, this would be decent, nice wee tree, and it's private and it's reasonable size and it's pretty well, it's quite flat. It's got a wee driveway out the front. You ain't going to, this is open for offers over 110. I wouldn't pay that. But we're on, you know, within the last 12 months, we've purchased probably about 6 properties. We've just got the keys a week ago for the 6th property, and that's a 3-bed terrace. And you could see it's virtually impossible to put a driveway in here. It's a problem, it's clearly a problem. Now, what that means is it can mean that it's harder to then sell on because people's requirements, parking is very high up. Rental might be the best way to go, and the houses at this, done to a good standard, command a good rental fee, and it would still be a good investment, and we would look at maybe over a couple of years and then reassess the situation depending on the market, maybe 2 or 3 years. Different area, but similar situation, done to a good standard as well. Some of the other things as well, just looking about. The boiler is fairly new, but you can see that there's just got single radiators. So they're certainly going to need replaced. The windows for a buy to flip would need replaced. Nothing really wrong with them to rent. They're fine for rental, but when people are buying, they're kind of expecting newer windows. The nice moulds and fittings, when we go and buy and flip, we are normally replacing, so like the skirtings and facings, the doors, the nice chrome fittings, the sockets and facings, all nice and chrome, the handles chrome, the doors would be replaced. In a rental, we wouldn't need to do that. We would literally do a nice high standard decorating job. So it's significantly less. You know, what we would do here is you would need to first of all rip all this kind of textured wallpaper off. We would take the skirtings and facings off, the sockets and the fittings would be replaced. We may need to plaster, we would probably cove, take out these vents, we don't need these anymore, remove all of them, plaster them up. The garden is a nice, you know, it's just a nice garden. So it's nice and secluded, so that you've got a nice element of security that way. You've got access through the side of the house. But what I would probably do, this side here is a nice big hedge. but probably the front and down that side I would put a nice size fence just to give it a little bit more security, a little bit more privacy. Again, that costs. We would probably, if we're flipping it, I would probably replace all of these slabs to a more modern slab, or maybe we would maybe just look at grassing it all, putting grass throughout it all, which is obviously going to be cheaper. So lifting all the slabs up, putting, you know, muck and everything down, and then just actually just putting rolling grass out on it, so it looks just a nice finish, which would be cheaper than slabbing it and just having a patio area at the front. Just another thing that we're looking at when we come to buy houses is the type of electrics. So you can see the electrics, they're not too bad. They probably need a little upgrade on certain bits, but we're not requiring a full sort of replacement of the electrics. But you can see the kitchen. The kitchen would need to be, so this door, after it's all properly cleaned up, the window would need replaced, and all the windows would need replaced if we were going to buy it flip. Yeah, the kitchen would need totally ripped out, start again. We are renovating them to a very high standard. We're getting them valued at around about the same amount, and we're selling them all for the same amount. We're making a good sort of 15 grand per property. That's the market we're in, that's what we're comfortable with, and that's what we'll continue to do. And that's something, if you're out there doing, you should do as well. You want to be clear, crystal clear, on what kind of house you're looking for, what the end result is, and how much you can go to, and what kind of standard and what that comes to. And what kind of standard and what does that mean financially. But the property so far is a really nice little sideline, and it's something that we're looking at doing more and more projects on. We're looking at joint venturing, we're looking at bringing people in so they can literally manage it all for us. So what month we're in right now, is point of recording this, we're in September. The two that we've got currently going, I would like to get them sold by the end of the year. And I would like to buy at least another one before the end of the year is out. That is kind of where I want to be. And reach out and send us some questions, and we'll happily answer them there. But property has been very kind to us. It is an interesting industry, but there's some pitfalls. So keep watching if you want to see more of the journey.
Hey, it's a chemical rising.